Hi everybody, Dale Fredericks here. We got my wife Sandra behind the camera, and we're going to show you how to make a fun little project. We're going to show you how to make a leather Christmas tree. Last year I was in the shop and I was just piddling around and I thought I'm going to make a leather Christmas tree. So I got some scraps and cut one out, and this is what we came up with right here. And people seem to like it, so we thought we'd show you how to make one. What you're going to need for this project, I got a piece of 10-11 ounce veg tan leather here, scrap leather. And you don't have to have the same weight, but you need something firm enough that it's going to stand up okay. We have a paper here to make a pattern on, and what I've done in this case, I just took an old envelope. It's already folded in half, and I drew out a half of the pattern, and then I drew out the standard up here. And I put some measurements on here. You don't have to go by these measurements, but they can kind of give you a point of reference. These are the measurements for this particular tree right here. You can see it's just half of the pattern. And then to make the standard, I just took the same pattern and I traced the bottom part out, and then I just rounded off the top. So the measurements for this tree here, they just turned out to be 7 3/4 inches tall from here to here, and half of the bottom is 3 3/8. So the total tree is going to be double that, and of course the standard is going to be the same, 3 3/8 on the bottom, and I made it about 2 1/4 inches tall at the highest part. So we're going to we'll go ahead and cut out our pattern. Oh, I should mention what you're going to need for this project. As you can see, you're going to need a scissors and a pencil. I've got a ruler here and a square, and I've got a punch. So a slot punch. We're going to punch the slots here in each piece. If you don't have a slotted punch, you can use just a hole punch to punch on the end, and you can cut out the rest of it with your round knife, which we're going to need also. Something like this, some kind of leather knife. So let me finish cutting this out. And what we did on ours, I just stamped our name and the year date. But you can decorate them however you want. You know, on ours we're just gonna add the year every year. But you can make little ornaments, or you can carve them, or paint them, or do whatever you want. It makes a pretty good little Christmas gift too, if you want to give them to some of your family and friends. And then every year at Christmas they'll be reminded of you. Okay, on this pattern here, I've gone ahead and marked where my slot is going to be. You're going to need a slot on each piece. They're going to interlock. And like we said, the measurement of this standard right here is about 2 1/4 inches. So I just took half of that, which is 1 inch and 1/8, and I just marked it on the pattern here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll cut a little slot from there on down on this piece. And then on the standard, we're going to cut it out of the top side of the pattern. All right, now we got our two pieces. And again, this one is going to be, the slot's going to be cut out of the top part of the pattern. So then we just take our patterns and we put them on our scrap leather, and take a pencil or a awl or whatever you want to use to mark the leather, and we'll just go around our pattern. And the reason that I have the square is because after I'm done marking out the pattern, I want to make sure that I have the bottom square on both pieces, so it lays as flat as possible when it's standing up. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the reason for casing it, which is getting the leather wet and then storing it overnight in a plastic bag, it's a little easier to cut. This is pretty old, tough leather here. And also when you do that, when you cut the leather, it'll help to burnish it a little bit on the edges. Right there, we got the tree cut out. We'll go ahead and do the standard. And I'm going to take my straight edge and just make sure I got that real straight on the bottom before I start cutting. The reason for the square is when you're making your pattern out, if you don't have an exactly straight edge on the bottom, you can use a square to make sure it is straight. So now we're going to get our round knife, cut that out. just drop my knife a little bit. We're just about done, folks. Hang in there. Alright, there's the tree part. And we just got to cut out the standard. Again, I'm going to take my straight edge. I'm going to make sure I got the bottom straight. Alright, there's the standard. So now we'll take our little pattern and we'll get it centered on our piece here. And we'll make a little mark. Let me get an awl. Make a little mark where the slot's going to be cut. And the same thing on this piece. I'm going to mark it up here where it begins to so I can have a straight line. I need to do that on here also. Mark it at the bottom so we get it right in the middle. Now we'll take our straight edge and we'll go down. From there, we'll draw a line. This will be the center of where we take our slotted punch. And the same thing here. The biggest slider punch that I have is 3/4 of an inch, and it's not going to quite be long enough, so I'm going to have to move it and hit it twice. So I'm going to make sure I'm centered on that line there. I'll just tap it a little bit, mark it, make sure I'm doing everything right. And I'll just walk it out a little bit to the end, keeping it centered up. Looks pretty good, so we'll just go ahead and finish it. Finish the deal. Alright, I will do the same thing with the tree. I'll go right up to my little mark that I made with the awl. Kind of get it centered there. That's it. If we did everything right, they should interlock and we should have ourselves a Christmas tree. There you go, folks. Here's your little Christmas tree. Looks like I could make that slot a little bit deeper. Let me go ahead and do that. There you go, you got yourself a leather Christmas tree. So we hope some of you will have fun with this, and we wish you a blessed and a Merry Christmas all year long. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.